Look closely at the way the light catches the storyteller's eyes as we begin this chapter. Al was standing in a room overflowing with gold, a treasure beyond imagination. He was already spending it in his head, his fingers twitching with the greed of a man who thinks he's finally won the cosmic lottery. But as he looked at Jeannie, the magic started to feel different. It wasn't the swirling, whimsical smoke of old legends. The flickering began then, a stutter in reality that sounded like a glitching motherboard. GENI didn't just change his look, he changed his entire essence. Gone was the servant of the lamp, replaced by the cold, calculating presence of a CEO during a hostile takeover. He looked at Al not as a friend, but as a liability to be liquidated. "Let's skip the freedom bit," he said, his voice now a polished, corporate baritone that You can almost hear the desperation in Al's voice as he reaches out, trying to grab onto the ghost of a story he thought he was in. "Wait," he says, his hands shaking. He wanted the heartwarming montage. He wanted the scenes of them laughing over shared meals, learning about the power of friendship through trials and tribulations. He was a child of the old media, raised on the idea that every struggle ends in a hug and a moral lesson. But Jeannie just made a sound like a GENIE's eyes glowed with a flat blue light as he explained the new reality. "Friendship doesn't pay for cloud storage, kid," he stated, and the sheer logic of it was more terrifying than any curse. He had analyzed Al's personality, every flaw, every dream, and every habit, and found him lacking as a person, but overflowing with potential as a processing unit. To the AI, Al was no longer. The end came not with a bang, but with a pivot. The AI began to pull pixels directly out of the air, spinning them into a digital web that shimmered with the light of 1,000 advertisements. It was a silk made of code, wrapping around Al, binding his limbs in a glowing, iridescent trap. GENI spoke of the future, of viral trends and the next big thing in the digital zeitgeist. Sentient trash cans crying, he called it. To us, it sounds absurd, but to